Hi, Fernando. How are you?
Hi, Linda. How are you? I have a quick question for you.
Yes,
So, the Hey You Guys, is that by any chance a Goonies reference?
it is. Yes, it's very much a Goonies
Ah,
reference.
that's awesome.
Well spotted. Are you a fan?
I'm a huge fan. I mean, not to get sidetracked too much, but I just showed Goonies to my kids, and they absolutely loved it. It stands the test of time. I'm happy to say.
Yeah, fabulous. Just congratulations on this project, and it's such an exciting thing to be doing. What was it about it that made you want to be part of this, or was it an idea that you nurtured yourself?
Well, it's an idea that I read in a news article that a friend of mine, a co-writer on the series, he shared with me, and I just thought I thought it was crazy that this existed and that nobody knew about it. And I started to ask around, and I couldn't find any information about it until I tracked down one of the Azules, one of the original ones, and she told me the story of how they were promised that they'd be cops, just like any male cop would. And once they got there, they realized that they were just part of a publicity stunt to distract people from a student massacre that happened in 1968. And they were just basically, dressed as like Pan Am stewardesses, with the short miniskirts and the tall boots, and they couldn't arrest anybody, they couldn't investigate. And I think that it was my question to them was, why did you stay? Like, if you figured this out, why would you stay? And she said, because the only way to change the system is from within, so we had to stay. And they had to put up with that for years and slowly earn their place in the police. And I think that the country owes them like a real debt of gratitude, because Mexico is about to celebrate our first female president. And my daughter, who's 18 years old, one of them is 18 years old, and she voted in these elections, and she elected the first female president. And I believe that there's a line that needs to be drawn between the Azules and this incredible historic event. And it's just sad. It's sad that nobody knows about it. And I believe that the show could, while entertaining, it could shed a light into why aren't we talking about this more often?
Yeah. How important is it, do you think, to keep telling these kind of female-centric stories? And do you think there are enough of them being told, specifically in sort of Central America or Mexico, for example?
I think in Mexico we are still we're not near where we need to be in terms of telling these stories, because Mexico still relies heavily on the soap opera. That they're not exactly female empowering stories. And also I think there's a overwhelming demand by the streaming platforms to make romantic comedies, which aren't exactly female empowering either. And I believe that these stories have a hard time being made. These stories, they're not easy to find somebody who believes these stories need to be told in Mexico. And I think that Apple TV Plus not only wanted to tell this story, but they encouraged it. They really, really, when the first time they heard it, when we told them, I mean, they jumped on board, and they just said, remove the breaks, if any, that you have in this story. Like, tell us the biggest and the best version of the story you can think of. And they've been so encouraging. And I believe that this story isn't only about female empowerment. I believe that all the male characters in this story, I believe that they can stand to learn a lesson, the same lesson that the Azules are learning, which is that in life, I believe you have to sometimes you have to stop and face yourself and think, am I who I want to be, or am I what society says I was meant to be? And I think that all the men in the show will come to the same question, because it's not like the men have it all figured out and the women are need to get out of where they are. I think everybody is sort of where society said they have to be, and I believe that the restructuring is necessary, but it has to do with a self-exploration first.
Well, you achieved what you set out to do, so congratulations, and congrats again. Fantastic series, and
No,
thank you again for your time.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm an enormous fan of British shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!